Hey guys, welcome to this week's CineFix Roundtable. There's no Clint because he's in Texas putting his baby in water or something, or feeding it to wolves. I don't know what he's doing, but we're not talking about
his baby or feeding it to wolves.
He's doing something in Texas.
He's getting baptized.
For those who are concerned,
Right.
Clint's daughter is getting christened.
And then it's going to get raised by wolves and found Rome.
Yes,
I see. Well, that makes a lot more sense.
but if you want to stalk him in Texas and paparazzi the shit out of him, try every church one at a time. In the meantime, we are here to talk about this week in movies and news about movies.
Yeah, we've got our round table.
It's very round now.
See that?
So truly, let's start off with your bit of news.
It's not really news, but the new Tomorrowland trailer was awesome. Like, Tomorrowland kind of looked like a snooze fest in the first two trailers, and the third one is like, it's just pure action.
Yeah.
It looks like a real good time.
The new one has made me more confused as to what's happening, because now there's giant robots fighting giant robots, and they seem to maybe be going to space. Like, do they go to space?
They're doing all the future.
And like, does everybody in the real world just see her wandering around talking to herself?
Probably.
Because it seemed like that scene in the car where she's like, I'm flying through wheat. She's still in the car with her dad. And so it's like, so when she's like up in the spaceship, is she just like in the middle of town like, I'm in the air?
Well, the new one, she like comes out of it and she's like in the middle of a lake, which is like really close to drowning.
Yeah.
Like Clint's baby.
Well, that might end when the pin stops being the thing, and then she meets George Clooney, and he might have a more elegant way of accessing the. But you know, who knows? For all we know, the movie's going to be a real fun time, and then it's going to end on a huge downer. Like maybe she was just crazy the whole time. That's my prediction.
I don't know. It's a Disney movie based on
I don't think it'll go
a
there.
section of the park.
We'll all get to go to Tomorrowland.
The only reason I feel comfortable making that joke is because it's a Disney movie based on a section of the park.
It looks
So I'm
real good. There's
reasonably
like
confident they
gun
won't do
stuff.
that.
There's a lot of
I was
guns,
like,
though.
oh, I wasn't expecting that.
But
No
they're-
blood, though.
But they're laser guns, so it can still.
I'm fine with that.
But the standards and practices is much more fine with laser guns than bullet guns.
I am excited for it, though.
Like,
Yeah.
the trailer was so different from everything else I saw, which was kind of like, man, this place is going to be wondrous, and everything's great. George Clooney's there. We're going to fly in a bathtub. And this one was like, everything's not great. There are laser guns, and things are going to fight and blow up and get zapped. And
I mean, I liked Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. That's Brad Bird. I like Pixar movies. Those were Brad Bird. So I like the chick that made a really smart decision to leave Under the Dome.
yeah.
Because that was a show, and now she's in Tomorrowland.
That was supposed to be a miniseries, and it makes me so pissed that they decided to continue with
Yeah,
this
now
run.
it's 6 seasons in a movie.
Yeah, I get so confused every time someone reminds me that that's still on. I'm like, I thought that was a miniseries.
I was on for 10 episodes, and they gave no solidified answers to anything.
And they're not even in the dome anymore. I mean, not all of them. Like, they can go in.
That show.
They have like a hole they can crawl through.
You
or
finished
something.
your trail mix really well timed there.
Yeah.
I ate fast.
I also have I have two things, but the first thing is also just a trailer. I don't know if you guys saw the trailer for, what is it called? Black Mass?
I haven't
Johnny
seen
Depp
it yet. I'm very
as
excited.
Whitey Bulger.
It's nice to see him acting again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like a
I
human.
mean, it's interesting because I feel like ever since Pirates started, Johnny Depp has just sort of become this bizarre, like, he just plays dress up in every movie, and he doesn't really like act anymore. And he used to be this like cool, edgy actor who took interesting roles, like Donnie Brasco, which granted I haven't watched in probably 10 years and it might not hold up. I don't know, but I remember liking some of his older stuff. And then like ever since Pirates, like everything is bull, even if it's not one of the Pirates movies.
Yeah.
But this looks like it could actually be more dress up, but cool.
It is still dress up, though.
Yeah, it
What's
is
your
still
character
definitely
like?
dress
Oh,
up.
he's got a bird on his head.
Right. But I mean,
No, I'm
it's
a wolf with a crazy mustache.
It's definitely better looking than Mordecai by far, though. I mean, I think this one, it'll be interesting to see if it turns out well because the cast is pretty incredible. You know, it's got like Benedict Cumberbatch and Adam Scott. Like lots of really cool people in there, and I think it could be good. They did the trailer sort of in the same style as American Sniper, that sort of like one really tense scene played out, although in this one they sort of interlaced a lot more other imagery from the movie. So I don't know. I mean, since you guys haven't seen it, I'm not going to dwell on it, but I'm actually excited for a Johnny Depp movie, which hasn't been the case in a very long time. So I hope it's good.
I've heard really good things about that. I think like everyone that I've run into that has brought it up because they're like, Johnny Depp is being a human again. That's so exciting because he's a really good actor who's just played this cartoon character for 20 years.
Look, I would even give him all of Pirates. That's one character.
Right. Yeah.
But then when you start doing all the other like weird like
Lone Ranger.
it's
Alice
like,
in Wonderland.
come on,
Dark
man.
Shadows.
Yeah.
Woof.
Yeah. So the other thing was Tyler Perry is going to be Baxter Stockman in Teenage Mutant Ninja
Shut the
Turtles 2.
up! That is awesome.
Yeah.
Did you just make that up?
I saw it on Ain't It Cool. Yeah.
That
So,
means
I mean-
we gotta be getting Krang, right?
Yeah,
Right?
I hope so. Because I feel like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles without a talking brain is a disappointment.
You don't
Yeah.
do the Fly ripoff and not do the brain floating in a giant plastic man.
I'm excited actually because I know Tyler Perry is basically a punchline, but I don't know, in Gone Girl he was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I think he's
felt-
probably pretty talented. But
Yeah.
he, from what I understand, he doesn't really do second drafts of his scripts for movies.
I mean, I think, obviously Gone Girl and TNMT are completely different types of projects, but I think it does show that maybe there's more to him than wearing drag.
He was in Star Trek 2009. I mean, it wasn't a particularly challenging part one way or the other, but he was an admiral who dressed down Kirk for cheating on the Kobayashi Maru, and like he's
And
got
he,
this
of course,
sort
was Alex Cross.
yeah, he's got this sort of nerdy side to him. So I bet he approached the TMNT people and was like, dude, can I be
They're
a
like,
Ninja
"Please
Turtle
let me in
or
your
a villain?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see if he is able to toe the line between, like, something that is somewhat kooky, but not Medea kooky.
I like that he is bored of his own empire enough to be doing really interesting things.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he's like, okay, I like being the number one director for like this one niche situation, but let's go do other stuff. Mm-hmm. I like it. I think it's good.
I'm very intrigued by this.
Oh, man, Baxter Stockman, Bebop, and Rocksteady. See, now this is a Teenage Mutant
coming
Ninja
together.
Turtles movie that I can get on board with.
Because it's getting real weird. I do have to burst your Johnny Depp bubble though, in that while Black Mass is coming out, he is also currently filming Pirates 5.
I know.
And Mordecai too.
I know.
No,
That one.
And Dark Shadows too.
But like Truly said, we'll give him pirates, as much pirates as he wants
they're
to do.
just gonna keep coming.
Yeah. And they just get longer and longer and longer.
Yeah, and less sense making, not unlike the Ninja Turtles.
that last one is a...
I didn't even realize that they were still making them until like I saw that a fifth one was on the way. I was just like, wait, there was a fourth?
I love Penelope Cruz, and that fourth one made me want to slap her in the face.
Is that the one where he turns into a bunch of little Johnny Depps?
I don't remember.
Because that movie didn't need more of him.
Oh my
I
god.
don't. That might have been
Yeah.
the third one because I didn't see the fourth one, and I feel like I remember that happening. But it could just be because the whole thing sort of devolves into a fever dream halfway through movie 2, and it
Yeah.
never comes back.
Yeah.
Well, because
So-
like the ship gets caught in the desert, and so he like smashes his head on the rock, and then like
No.
becomes a whole bunch of different
in
tiny
Oh, really?
pirates.
Well, in 3, the ship's caught in the desert, and then the desert is made of crabs. I'm not
well,
kidding
but
about
this
the
isn't
fever
this
dream.
isn't this while they're in hell getting him back from the dead?
Yeah.
Anyway,
So-
your news story.
Well, speaking of making things out of things, Galaxy Quest is now going to be a TV show. The movie about a fake TV show is now going to be a real TV show. And yeah, it's like you took 2 meta mirrors and just you're bouncing things off of each other like this.
But is it Galaxy Quest the show as a real show, or is it Galaxy Quest the show about people making a show and then ending up in space the show?
I think the
I can
second
only
one?
assume it's the second one.
Right.
Which how long can you continue that before it just becomes the
A
show
show.
that it's supposed to be making fun of?
Right.
It would be really cool if they got Enrico Colantoni back on board.
Seems easy enough.
That would be
What's
awesome.
he doing?
Drag him away from lunch.
Yeah. If they do that, I'm in. If they don't, forget it.
Galaxy Quest is great.
It's
It is
great.
so much better than it has any right to be for a movie with Tim Allen. But I just can't get excited about it as a TV show just because I'm like, I don't know how you develop
did
that in any way that
Everything
makes
it
sense.
needed to do in that hour and a half.
Right.
Like, they save the universe. They shoot the crab-looking bad guy. Justin Long's there for like 3 seconds. It's awesome.
Feature film debut.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That movie gave us Justin Long.
As they
Things you didn't know.
Yeah.
What would we have done without him?
It just feels like there's gotta be a non-Galaxy Quest way you can do the exact same concept and not be painting yourself into a corner already. You know,
Yeah.
like,
I
if
mean,
you want it to be like aliens take actors into space to fight the bad guy because they misunderstood things, just do that. And don't tie it too deeply to a franchise that I feel like it already buttoned up its story pretty well. And if you don't bring your all your original cast back, then what is it?
Yeah, and I have this weird suspicion that it's not going to be aged actors from an old popular TV show. It's going to be these like young actors from this currently successful TV show. And look at how sexy they are in space.
They're not going to go the Full House reboot route?
I know. Oh, that's a thing that's also Fuller House.
That's right.
Yeah.
Fuller House and
With the original
Transfibers are two things that I found out about on the same day, and I'm like, shut up, internet.
Yeah.
You were
Just,
so upset.
You stop it, internet.
Stop spitting garbage at me.
Netflix is making some. It's
Choices.
the first time
They're
that they're
making
making
some
some
choices.
choices because they've got Fuller House, which I understand on a It's like they're finally making business decisions as opposed to cool creative decisions.
Right.
And Fuller House is one of those where you're like, this just sounds so stupid.
Yeah.
And then the decision to pick up Adam Sandler from Sony is now exploding in their faces.
Yeah. Speaking of, offensive Native American stereotypes in The Lone Ranger, Adam Sandler has not had a great week.
No. So if you don't know, Adam Sandler has tried to make this Western called The Ridiculous Six. And I'm not sure if it's supposed to be purposefully a parody of The Hateful Eight, but it sounds really familiar.
I thought that too, and then I read somewhere it's meant to parody The Magnificent Seven. So I don't know what's happening.
Okay.
So it's called The Ridiculous Six. It used to be set up at Sony. Sony finally was like, no. Then it was set up at Paramount. Paramount
They were
was then like, no.
Girl, bye.
And then Netflix has to make it because they signed this 4-picture deal with Adam Sandler. And Adam Sandler's like, this is one of the movies I want to make. And it's supposed to be this parody of Westerns. After they've already had an incident recently where like somebody got hurt on set or whatever, a dozen Native American actors got up and just walked off the set and were like, this is the most disrespectful, like, offensive movie, and we refuse to participate in it.
How? How would they do that? Sorry, that was...
Here's another thing that happened.
What are we going to say about it? I mean,
That
like,
is a
Adam
real
Sandler's a mess.
Yeah.
Netflix is making questionable decisions, and I'm still probably going to watch at least the first episode of Fuller House, but not beyond that.
Well,
Yeah, you will.
there's the morbid curiosity to Fuller House. I'm not going to watch the Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah, you just kind of want to see like how everyone looks.
Now that it's free, don't you just kind of want to see how bad it is?
Yeah.
Like, you guys have never turned on FX to watch Grown Ups 2 because you're like, this is going to be god-awful, and I'm a terrible person, and I deserve this.
So my story, now that we know that Adam Sandler's a disaster,
We've known for a while. I'm just surprised that it's gotten even worse somehow.
that people keep giving him money.
Like, how does he keep making his career even worse?
Who is the
I bet
person that
Pixels
keeps
is going to be gigantic.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want it to be, and I don't think it's going to be good, but I think it's going to be huge.
Oh, that's the thing. That like you know that Netflix said yes to Adam Sandler because he still makes an obnoxious amount of money. People just keep going.
It's not happening so much lately, though. Like, Blended didn't work.
That's true.
And that one he did with Andy Samberg didn't work.
And
You know what? The one with Andy Samberg would have been fine if he hadn't done the stupid voice the whole time. Like, if he had just been like, yeah, I'm a person, and then, like, kept all the weird, sort of quirky shit, like, it would have been okay.
So my thing is that there are six Robin Hood things in development.
6.
A year ago, DreamWorks bought a script called Merry Men. Lionsgate is developing Robin Hood Origins, which is by the guy who wrote the King Arthur films the Guy Ritchie is making. He's making a series of King Arthur films starring Charlie Hunnam.
I'll watch it. out of those.
And Robin Hood Origins is supposed to have the feel of Batman Begins.
I mean, you can tell it just from the title. It's just like, oh Lord, so this is like the Batman Begins of Robin Hood. The Batman Beginsification of everything really grinds my gears.
Right, so that was gonna be gritty and dark, but like origin story.
And the Crusades, I assume.
They
Lots of
haven't released
Crusades.
what yet? Where he's origining, but it's not the official modern one. The official modern one is Sony's. That one's called Hood, and it seems to be headed up by the Wachowskis.
Cruz added the.
I was gonna say, is he
Gang
rapping
side.
in this one?
No, that one's called Hood, and it's supposed to be like Fast and the Furious Mission Impossible, led by the Wachowskis in modern times.
Can we get a close up on Truly's face right now?
What?
So
Who thought that was a good idea?
The Wachowskis.
We have guns.
Sony.
They're another like property that needs to be stopped.
A gun is like 1,000
Adam
times
Sandler
better
needs
than
to
a
be
bow.
stopped. The Wachowskis need to be stopped. Pitbull needs to be stopped.
If Pitbull did the whole
Diesel.
soundtrack to Hood, I would be in. Sure would.
Would Sherwood Forest have to be in Miami then?
I guess. Warner Brothers has a new one that they won't release the information about, but it's the guy who wrote Gangster Squad and is writing Aquaman.
Those don't instill confidence in me. Like, those credits, that's like, it's just like, you had me at Gangster Squad.
So they're all in development, but nothing's necessarily greenlit, or
Right.
only
Nothing's-
one thing's maybe greenlit. Or whatever.
Nothing's officially getting made yet. So
Yeah, really, it's just a race to production at this point, because they
Right.
can't all go through with it. I mean, that would be insane.
you know that Disney's gonna do
I
it.
want to see it happen.
You know that
Yeah.
Disney's definitely gonna do their
It did happen in the
swashbuckling.
90s with, like, Robin Hood Prince of Thieves came out at the same time as, like, another one that no one remembers.
I don't remember
With, like,
that
Uma
one.
Thurman or something.
Well, and it's the Deep Impact Armageddon. Like, you can
Right.
have two,
Yeah.
maybe three.
But not
Well, two,
five
well,
and
two
a TV show.
never works out for the second one.
No,
Right.
it doesn't.
There is one adaptation that is not Robin Hood that I am excited about. Vince Gilligan of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul fame has partnered with Disney. Disney bought his pitch for Jack and the Beanstalk. A not necessarily darker, but like
I was gonna say a gritty
not
origin
no,
story.
it doesn't say that it's gritty. It says that it's just like a reimagining of Jack and the Beanstalk, and Disney is down. They're like, let's make it.
I honestly will watch pretty much anything Vince Gilligan does until he Adam Sandlers and just starts putting out shit after shit. And let's hope that never happens.
It happens to everybody. It happens to the best of them.
Even Spielberg.
Yeah, he's Spielberged. And now every time you watch his movies, you're like, this movie would have been really good if it came out in 1982.
Yeah.
But not anymore. They're just so gushy.
They get soft at the end.
So
You're real soft.
Not
Like a
Jaws.
Tootsie Pop.
Not Jaws.
Jaws good.
And on
Breaking news, everyone. Jaws is good.
This has been your weekly CineFix Roundtable, a cluster. Thanks to Clint being gone.
Yeah.
Thank you, Clint, for
This-
leaving us here. And
This really went
abandoning-
off the rails without Clint.
Yeah, the
This was a
reality is
mess.
that it's not his daughter that is being raised by wolves, it's us. Make sure to like and subscribe for more awesome movie content. Let us know in the comments what you thought of all this weird movie news. People are making Netflix is making bad decisions, and Uncle what's his name is back, ready to touch you in your fuller house. See you next week.
Oh, that's where that was going.
I lost
Jesse-
track of it in the middle.
Uncle Jesse.
Uncle Jesse.
Uncle Jesse can touch me if he wants to.
Cut it